If you are over the age of 35, stop everything you're doing right now. After a lifetime of eating fatty foods, you may run the risks of a stroke or heart attack due to plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. To learn how you can reduce your risks, visit youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856 today. This may be a life-changing call for you or someone you love. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you.
Benny Lasbury was a young, poor African-American kid who inadvertently got caught up in the mob when he came to the aid of a mafia captain under the attack by a group of assassins. Benny saved the man's life, and in return, he becomes the head of the mafia's drug operation. Buy The House of Lasbury in the description box right now.
For the worst period in my life, not one day. I never was with that man one day where somebody didn't say that his music had that type of impact on his life, on their life.
Please.
Not one day.
So let me ask you this, if you don't mind. So we get to the moments prior to his, or the days prior to his passing, and we get the news on up in the public. We get it, and we all kind of digest. And we've all had family before that's been sick and have been put on life support, and we've had to have the family brought in, and we wait and things like that. So we all had our speculations. But what was it like intimately with DMX during that time, if you don't mind me asking? Was it like always a space left for hope that he would come through, or was it a situation where we got to get family to come see him and give their final goodbyes before we go ahead and do what we got to do?
For me, never once did I ever envision him not waking up.
Okay.
Once. He was at home. I live upstate New York, about 2 hours away. So I got the call Friday night. What's wrong with Earl? You know, he fell, he passed out, and they had to revive him, and he's rushed to the emergency room. So I immediately jumped in the car, drove down. The word I got is that he had a heart attack, a major heart attack, that he was unconscious on life support. 30 minutes to revive. Didn't revive. Heartbeat back. And then also told that while there, he tested positive for COVID. So they had him COVID ICU wing in the hospital. And so that's all I know.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, well, he's going to bounce back. I kept asking, is he brain dead? Nope. None of the family is telling me. We couldn't see him. We were at the hospital. It was, a handful of us that were at the hospital every single day from 9, 10 in the morning all the way till the visiting hours stopped at like 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
But we would just be waiting for the family to come back down, They're fighting with him. And so at no time, and I would ask every day, like, hey, what are they saying? No, it's still grave. He's still on life support. But nobody would tell me what was going on. I didn't find out what was going on until, as far as, him being brain dead, his organs failing, until late that Thursday evening before he passed. Now, remember, the whole time we're outside, there's a small crew. There's, Darren Dean is there every day with me. One of his close friends, Al, we were there every day. And we're trying different things. People are reaching out to us in the medical community. I flew in holistic doctors from LA and Vegas to try different approaches. I was on the phone with stem cell research doctors that were willing to take the case. We were trying to get him transferred to other hospitals. That was when I found out that basically either whoever from the family was talking to us didn't understand what the doctors were saying, or were lying to us.
Yeah.
Because
sorry, not to cut you off, but we didn't hear that part. It went out for a second. Can you repeat that?
Which part? Which part was that?
You were saying that you went right off of saying that it was either they didn't know. Go on, sir.
Either the family members that were up there every day allowed to actually go in,
right?
Either they were misunderstanding what the doctors were saying, or they weren't telling us the complete truth. Because when I finally was speaking with the family, like, listen, well, they're telling you they've done everything they can at White Plains Hospital. All right, well, we're going to get them transferred. I got stem cell research doctors that already tried experimental treatments. We had the holistic doctors come in. We were trying everything. And so I found a hospital that would transfer him. I said, I explained what I knew anyway. I said, he just has minimal brain activity. And it wasn't until that hospital, the doctors from that hospital spoke with the White Plains doctors, and then they called me back, meaning the new hospital, and said, Craig, we're sorry, we can't take him. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, what you told us is in fact his condition. I said, what do you mean? And it was that Thursday he passed. His organs failed. That was that Friday morning. That Thursday evening is when I found out that they told me that no, Craig, there's no brain function. And I was crushed and still was like, listen, I can't. I know there's going to be a miracle. You know, we'll rent an Airbnb, and the doctor said he'll come there and try stem cell research, anything. But that was me not taking the impact of what I was just told. You know, that was me just having the ultimate faith and hope that he was going to come out of it. And it wasn't until that Thursday night now. Now it's Thursday. The health organization called me and said, listen, I got the leading cardiovascular surgeon from Emory University. He's going to give you a call. So we hung up. He called me, explained the situation. He said, listen, Craig, the only way around it is to say you want a second opinion on the diagnosis of him being brain dead. And after he spoke with the hospital, then he called me back and said, listen, we don't know one another, but I can hear from the passion in your voice. You've been a good friend. You've done everything you can. But what I've heard from, nobody has ever come back from, no brain functioning. It's different if he was in a coma. It would be different if he was in a vegetative state, but there is no brain activity. And this is what that doctor said. He said, and this is coming from someone who would love to help you and him. He said, because I'm a DMX fan. I used to do surgery, listen to his music. And so, we fought to the end. People around him, we fought to the end, trying different approaches, getting people involved, medical specialists. But long story short, that his organs failed, and it was something he wasn't coming back from.
Now, could it be a situation, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when did you guys find out his brain function was no longer there? Was it something that the family maybe didn't know, or was it something that was a little more elongated than the Thursday you found out?
It was longer. Come to find out, it was that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Damn.
So with that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
In the meantime, like I said, we're flying in doctors, trying different approaches, conversations with different hospitals that would do treatment and all that. That's why I guess I'm still in disbelief, because it's like, you're still like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm expecting him to bounce back. Like we got all his children up there, and we did that also thinking that he was going to wake up and be able to tell him, like, yeah, see, we got the ball rolling. Children are here. And so it was just, I can't even describe the pain and the hurt. Probably every emotion you can think of: anger, disbelief, everything. It still hasn't hit me.
Yeah.
Still hasn't hit me. I know it's real, but
Right.
I'm not delusional, but it hasn't hit me.
Right. So yeah. So moving forward, you were talking, you said that, your legacy now, or your mission, I should say, is to make sure that his kids, get the just due. Talk about that and making sure that, his kids, are good.
Yeah, everything now is about his children. He had 14 children, ranging from age 29 to the youngest. And everybody's hurting, for as much as we hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine his children, his fiance. That, oh man, so just about building his legacy now. That almost like figure keeping him alive, his spirit and energy going, speaking about and standing up for the things that he believes. Thanking God that we are still here, and make the best of it, and use his life as a blessing. Both the trials, tribulations, and the triumphs. Like, just use it as a learning lesson. And thank God that there's a lot of people that have been really, really like deals that we had spoken about while he was here, that many of these people are keeping their word, and they understand they still want to do it. Even when it comes down to the fatherhood show, there are various production companies that have reached out, say that, you know, it's an honorable mission, that we still want to do it even though he's not here. We still think that is a story worth telling and seeing of his children developing bonds, relationships, moving forward in his absence. And so I'm just grateful and thankful that he even left gifts, even in him departing this earth, that his spirit and his energy is so powerful that we'll still be able to touch lives and provide for his children. You know, that's the blessing. So our work isn't done, and you know, we're not saying it's easy. A lot of confusion, because he didn't really. That's the other message, you know, especially when it comes to our people, is make sure you have, whether it's a healthcare proxy, I don't care how or how old you are, do it. And it shouldn't be the person just because maybe they're your family. It shouldn't be. It should be someone who you know can think, has critical thinking skills, that can question the conditions, the doctors, you know, and fight, and then also to have a will in place. You know, it's unfair to have, you know, your loved ones, especially your children, sitting back while people are and catching attitudes over certain things. So to make that easier, like in our community, one of the things we need to do is really start teaching that to young, whether it's the healthcare proxy and wills. Like, that's two things that we really need to do in this situation. I know I learned from, and I need to do.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. So you, right after his death, Irv Gotti goes on an interview and says what he says about the cause of death. Now, we go on our platform and we like to have discussions about things that go on in hip hop, as well as doing interviews. And we gave our thoughts on it. And our thoughts were, if he was given a green light, then okay. If he was given a green light by his family, then yes, Irv Gotti was well within his right to say it. But if he wasn't, that was wrong. And we've had different and various people who knew and loved DMX throughout the entertainment community about their thoughts. And we got their thoughts. Somebody that was intimately close to him. How did you feel when you heard the comments made by Irv Gotti? And was he given a green light to say those things?
I know it was, to me, it was definitely wrong. If he did get a green light, I don't know who he got it by, because like I said, to this day, all I know, any toxicology report, but I'm not sure who gotten that green light or information from. All I can tell you consistently is that he had a massive heart attack. He did test positive for COVID while he was there at the ER. I know he had been now I found out that he was exposed to COVID 2 weeks prior to that, because there was a couple they went out on a date with, and when they called him a couple of days later and said, hey, you guys should get tested. I think it was about 3 weeks before this happened. And his fiance and him, they told me they just like lost a little bit of their sense of taste. They were a little achy for about 4 or 5 days, and then they were fine again. So that's the extent of what I know. I spoke to him that Wednesday, and everything was fine. But as far as what Irv is saying, even when people come to me and ask me about like drug addiction and stuff like that, I can tell you he was in the best space of his life.
Yeah.
I can also tell you that when people try to talk to me about drug addiction, like, to me, when it comes to him, people talk about drugs too much. Really, what we should be talking about is mental health. Because this is a man that dealt with a lot of childhood trauma, adult trauma, in addition to addictions, you know, whether it was anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, multiple personalities. Like, Earl dealt with a lot of that. And we were encouraging him, and we ended up doing like almost our own therapy with the small group of us, with Jungle, myself, him, and the videographer, because we had a videographer with us the last year plus while we were on the road.
If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Blackout. Blackout is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-78